Hi, friends. It's Melinda and Ollie, and this is Unhinged Founder. It is the day before Christmas Eve, and my family does Christmas on Christmas Eve. So for me, it's the day before Christmas. But we are recording. You're going to hear this probably in January, February. But just know we are here. Ollie has his Christmas sweater on, and we're in the Christmas spirit. So today's guest is my new friend, Jackie, and she is a human design expert, and she is based in Tulum, Mexico. We talk about it in our conversation, but all the girlies are moving to Tulum, and I'm kind of considering it now after this conversation. So even if you don't know what human design is, we will get into it. I love human design. I need to know more. But let's get into this awesome conversation. All right, Jackie, tell us all about yourself.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. So my name is Jackie Smythe and I like, where do I even start? Yeah. So I'll just go into, I think I'm like a bold pioneering entrepreneur. I recently sold all of my belongings. All I own is in a 5x5 storage unit outside of Philadelphia. And I'm living in Tulum, Mexico with one suitcase and one bag and basically reinventing my entire life at 41, which is so taboo, but that's where I'm at.
Oh my God, I love it. Like when so we met each other in a online women's networking group, and when I started lurking you and saw you live in Tulum, I'm like, oh, she did the Tulum thing, because I feel like that's such a trend
Yeah.
of female founders or just
Yes.
women in America that are just like, fuck everything, I'm
Yeah.
moving to Tulum.
Yeah.
I'm selling everything, I'm moving to
Yeah.
Tulum. So like I know you probably have a community down there of people just like you.
Yes. Yeah, I'm starting to build it. So, I mean, I'm just going to be completely transparent. I moved here in February of this year, 2025, February 18th. I moved here with my husband, who is now my ex-husband. And we,
Congratulations.
thank you. We moved here and I spent the first 4 months basically like almost like recreating my life the same way that it was in Philadelphia, like not making as many connections, kind of like, like when you're married, it's like not as urgent. And not that it's urgent at all ever, but I was just like really unhappy for a long time. I think that sort of led to Tulum, but then like the partnership that I was married for 13 years and relationship for 19. And that was like the last piece of like old me coming with me. And then about halfway into the experience here, I grew so much, like spiritually, personally, through human design and just through the work I had been doing in the last 3 years, that I was like, wow, I'm in this whole new country and this whole new life. And it just became very clear that like I was tolerating something and sweeping something under the rug that I knew, but I couldn't ignore it anymore. Um, so here we are. And now in this second iteration, I'm meeting like way more people, way more alignment, yeah, starting to like really tap into the community here, and there's a lot of like-minded people for sure.
Yeah. And the thing you said about, it wasn't urgent to find friends.
Mhm.
I understand that, because when you have a built-in friend that's just there all the time, why go and find other people? I find myself doing that all the time, because I'm like, well, Jeremy can just go to dinner with me, or we'll just go do that thing, when it's so important
Yeah.
to still connect with your friends and
Yeah.
still go and do things.
Yes. Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't live a conventional life by any means. And I think this is like kind of morbid, but I'm always like, when I get older, like, what do I want my life to be? Because I don't know that I'm necessarily going to have like the kids and the grandkids and all of that around me. So I think like building community and lifelong friendships and like minded people and being associated with organizations and businesses and other female entrepreneurs that are in this for the long run is going to be something really important for not just now, but my future and even how I see my future. Like, I want to be like the 75-year-old woman on stage still speaking about like human design and transformation and following your path and, owning your worth and all of that. So it's like, it's not even just like friends for now, but it's like, well, what do you want for like what's setting up your life for the future?
Yeah, it's an investment.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
just like anything else. So, what was your life in Philadelphia? Tell me, like, career, all that stuff, like pre-Tulum. What was your life before the woo-woo of it all, I guess?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I was actually lived in New York City for 11 years, moved to Philadelphia in 2017 at the end, just a couple years before the pandemic. I was in health and fitness for 13 years. I had a great career in it. I worked in boutique fitness in New York, then in Philadelphia. Then I created my own in-person brand in Philadelphia. It went really well. Pandemic hit. I had to bring the whole thing online. I had really good success, like $100,000 in 9 months online during the year of the pandemic, which is like really, it was like unheard of, but it's because I had such a big following from in person, right? So I was like health and fitness. And then when I got into it, I was, you can imagine like health and fitness, very strategic, very on, very up, very go, very driven, like very masculine energy. And I burnt out at some point and I was feeling myself, like I'm a very deep person. I'm not surface level, as you can see. I'm going to like go right to the stuff that matters. I don't want to do small talk. And I really think that I'm here to like transform and provoke people through my own story. Um, so it just didn't feel like enough anymore, fitness. It was like, okay, this is like the surface level manifestation of transformation, but what I'm really craving is something deeper. I started to feel that call within myself in Philadelphia. And that's when I started to find human design and bring it into my business and brand. And that's kind of how we got here today.
I love it. So explain to people what human design is. I know about it. I mean, I've already done a call with you.
Yes.
You like changed my life, but we'll talk about that later. But
Mhm.
tell people what human design is.
Yeah, human design is the study of your energy, how you can perceive your own energy and how you can use your energy in the world to get what you want, but also it's your aura and your frequency and how other people are experiencing you as an energetic human being. Over 90% of communication is nonverbal and we don't account for that. So when we have clean energy, clean intentions, all of that, then we're able to really attract, magnetize and manifest what it is that we want because we're living in alignment with our own energetic being. And I know this sounds really woo woo, but it's about behavior change, right? And it's about inner peace and it's about self trust and leadership at its core. That's what it's really about.
Yeah. And so people can find their human design how?
Yes, you can message me on Instagram at I am Jackie Smythe, and I can put it into my software, which is like a very advanced thing. But if you don't want to message me because you're like, who is this chick? I'm not sure yet. Then you you can go to jovianarchive.com and you can just pull up your chart there. There's also my human design. I mean, there's a zillion ways. You could just put human design in your Google browser and it'll say, get your chart here, like in a zillion different ways.
Yeah. And so you need to know your birthday. Obviously, everybody
Yeah.
knows their birthday and your birth time. So
Yes.
you have to call your mom,
Yes.
or you have to dig up your birth certificate somewhere.
Yes.
You have to know your birth time and the place, or else it will be jacked up.
Yes.
And I'm assuming there's no other way to figure it out, or it's not going to be as like
Yeah.
in tune if you don't have the exact birth time.
Yeah, if you don't have the exact birth time, things can change throughout the day because it's all based on the transit, right? So the transit changes. Sometimes the birth time matters less, and sometimes it matters more depending on the transit. So that's something that I can look at within my software to see how reliable it is. But it's just like person dependent.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So you would look it up the same way you would a birth chart.
Yeah.
It's just less astrology, like, Capricorn, whatever,
Yeah.
and more of, I don't know, themes in your life. So, example, I am a manifesting generator. That means I'm like a master manifester and I am very aggressive and it's all over the place. And I'm a 4-6. I still don't really know what that means.
Yes.
But when I did a session with you, I realized, oh my gosh, this is also validating. And this all makes sense
Yes.
why I feel this way
Yes.
and why I work myself to death
Yes.
and why I'm a crazy lady sometimes.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So it is based on astrology. It's based on a few things. Human design is based on astrology, the I Ching, the Kabbalah, and physics, and science, right? So there's like a few different modalities that are going into it. So astrology is a piece of it, but yeah, it's insanely accurate. I've read hundreds of women all over the world. I mean, like India, Australia, Canada, the US, Mexico, like all over the world at this point, and it's been accurate and on point and enough times, like New Zealand, Amsterdam, that I have no question that this is like the truth. Um, I can tell you about a 4-6 if you want me to.
Yeah, do
Okay.
it.
So
I'll tell everyone my business.
yeah,
Everyone's gonna
well, this
unsubscribe
probably makes
immediately because they're gonna realize I'm crazy.
yeah, this is going to make sense for you. Okay, so for the 4 line, the 4 is on your conscious. The first number that you have in your profile represents your mind's experience, your conscious experience. For a 4 line, there's this like deep call for authenticity in everything that you do. There's also, so it's like no bullshit, right? There's also a warmth about the 4 line. Generally, you can have a little bit of like BFF energy with like the right people, like with your right sliver of people. You're generally here to serve like the people, but like your people. So building relationships, building community, and networking is going to be really imperative for your life and for your business. Once you are inside a community or creating your own community, you're able to just like go faster because the people are going to trust you. They're going to stay with you. If you have a community of 100 people as a four line, you could literally sell them a notepad. You could sell them a pen. You could sell them a bottle of water. Like once they're there, they're there. And they're usually like lifers. So this is the four line, but in your brand, like authenticity is huge. When we go into the six is your aura. This is your body or your subconscious. It's how other people are feeling you. So the sixth line is a leader. So you need to understand for you showing up as a leader is really important. Even if you don't see yourself that way, you're a role model, right? You're a role model, not because it's like BS. You're a role model based on what life is teaching you. So it's like every experience that you've had has made you more of an embodied leader. And you're saying, this is what I went through. This is what worked. This is what didn't work. This is what hard. This is what was easy, right? And now I'm going to role model you the better behavior. You're also a visionary, right? So people are following you because you're the truth and you're telling them the truth.
I mean, it's spot on, I think, especially the visionary part. So watch out, everyone.
Yeah.
Watch out. This is not psychic at all. This is literally science. And when we did our session before, there was stuff that you were saying to me that was similar to this, obviously. And you didn't even know that I run a female founder networking group once a month, and I have 350 women and all these things. And I was listening to it. I'm like, okay, I didn't even know. Like, obviously, this stuff is going to come up because it's literally ingrained in me. It's in my chart. It's in
Yes.
my sign and everything. So, as a part of human design, there's manifesting generators, projectors, and what am I leaving out?
No, reflectors and manifestors.
Reflectors. Okay. So, can you explain what all of those are in like two sentences? Well, like two sentences each.
Yes, generators are like the world's life force. You are here to live in your joy, to live in your passion, to follow your desire, and to literally uplift the mood and the energy of people around you. You have a lot of energy, but don't think you're a workhorse. You're not. You're meant to use your energy for only things that you're excited about. Manifesting generators, everything I just said about a generator is also true for you, but you have manifestor energy. So you don't necessarily go step by step. You're going to move in your own process. You're going to move fast. You're going to skip steps. You're going to be bold and in like a good way, kind of bossy. I don't mean that in a bad way, right? Like it's just like, this is what I want. This is what we're doing. Let's go. When you go into a projector, projectors are actually, if you are willing to go there with me, they've only been on the earth for about 200 years and they brought like more centers to the chart. And so sometimes projectors have a hard time being on earth because they're new to it and they're here to guide humanity. They're here to be guides and advisors, and they have a perspective. Like having a projector in your life is such a gift. They have a perspective and a point of view that nobody else has. So if you're having a hard time figuring out what to do, go ask a projector, and their insight is absolute gold. Like value the projectors around you. Then there's manifestors, pure manifestors. So they don't have the generator energy. They're the ones that are here to initiate and start things. They have like new ideas, new concepts. They are not responding to anything outside of them. They are literally inside of themselves. They know what to do. They go and they create it. They have a closed aura. Sometimes they can come off as like really harsh, or their energy is like, oof, like I need to go away from that. But it's because they're not meant to like pick up on anyone else's field. They start, they initiate, they're bold. They are not people pleasers. And then when we go into a reflector, this is a very rare type. Actually, projectors are 20%, manifestors are about 9%, but reflectors are only 1% of the population, maybe, so they say. And they don't have any energy centers defined, so they're a literal reflection of whatever environment they're in. It's like they're a fly on the wall and they're reflecting back everything that they see in that environment. So if you're a reflector, your environment that you put yourself in is going to dictate part of your life experience and part of your energy, but it's such a gift because you can bring perspective to that particular community. But if you don't like the community, then you're not going to feel good about yourself or about your own energy.
Yeah. So when you work with clients, you do their chart for them. And do you generally just work with like female founders, or is it like anybody and you just kind of help them figure out their life? But specifically female founders, say I come to you and I'm your client. How would we relate this to my business?
Well, there's specific parts of your chart. So we're just going into type right now, but I don't even start with type. I'm going to look at your life's work, which is in your incarnation cross. and then also your purpose, which is in your incarnation cross, which can tell me a lot about the essence of your brand. Then I'm going to look at your nodes, which tell us about your offers. So your north node is like your soul's calling, and a lot of the info in your north node is what we can put in your offer. Then there's a line quality next to your north node, and you guys are like, what is she talking about? But it tells us like the type of leader that you're here to serve. So we can even look at like how to speak in your messaging to attract the right type of leader that it is that you want to work with, or that your energy is going to be best able to serve. Then when we go into the individual gates, there's Mercury, which is all about messaging and communication. I can pull out the depth of your messaging just by looking at your Mercury gate. And then I can pull out the depth of how you can align your energy to make sales by looking at your Jupiter gate. And then I can also tell you in your unconscious moon, the energy that's making you more visible to your community. So when I look at all of this, like this is called the Obsidian method that I work with in my signature offer called Body of Wealth. This is a methodology that I've developed based on the parts of the chart that I find most helpful to female entrepreneurs in terms of business. And then, of course, just by studying this stuff, you're going to come into alignment with yourself. And that's just part of it. There's a few other things that I didn't mention. I don't want people to be like in a mental spiral of like, what is she talking about? But like, that's how, right? There's these key parts of your chart that have to do with like what you're here to communicate, how you can make money, the message you're here to deliver. And we look at that and then we align it with your business. And I'm telling you, like the resonance that my clients have in their body after we do this, it's just insane.
So, have you ever had a client that had to completely overhaul their business after working with you because they were like, "Holy shit, I'm just doing everything wrong"?
Completely overhaul, no, but change their messaging, yes. And change, this is the biggest thing, changing your self-concept. Because what happens is usually I find that people that come to me are already intuitive and already have some level of like spirituality or leadership inside of them. So they're kind of on the right path, just like how you came to me. You're like, she didn't know I had this networking group. Like you're already on the right path. But how you see yourself isn't sometimes as powerful as you are because society conditions us so much. So it's shadow integration. Every single energy in your chart has a shadow, low frequency and high frequency. So a lot of the work that we also end up doing is shadow integration to be seeing yourself more as a leader and to shift your identity into somebody that can actually hold hundreds of people, that can hold thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like a lot of it becomes after the business is structured, a lot of identity work and a lot of identity shifting. I like to say that your chart is your full potential before the world conditioned you to think or be otherwise.
Something you said there about making sure you're able to hold a certain amount of money, that is something that has been coming up a lot lately for me, and I see a lot too that,
Mhm.
as female founders, we're like it's shoved down our throat. You have to make seven figures to be successful, and I am on such a warpath about that because I say, that's not most people's reality. Most people's businesses aren't set up that way. It's not sustainable for them to make seven figures.
Exactly.
But even $500,000 are you have to ask yourself, am I like, do I have the capacity to make that kind of money? When I make that money, am I going to be in the right mindset?
Exactly.
Am I even open to it,
Mhm.
like energetically? Because you could say, yeah, I want $500,000, but on the inside, you're saying, oh God, money scares me. I wouldn't know what to do with that. And so you're going to repel it away.
Exactly. Yeah, you can see this in the chart too. A lot of it has to do with the ego center, which has to do with self-worth and how you value yourself. And then there's specific money gates, like there's the 45, there's the 21. All of these gates relate back to money and your resources and how you react to them. But I also think it's just behavior change. So the more that you become in alignment with yourself, the more that money isn't going to shake you. It's not something that's going to like shock or sting your body, like, oh, I just made a lot, like amazing. Or oh, I just let go of a lot. Oh my God, I'm scared. Like the more that you can come into alignment, I think the more that your nervous system can relax. Right. So when you learn how to trust yourself and you learn how to just be with yourself, money is the secondary thing. I just like to say that money doesn't lead, it follows. Right. So if you're aligned, if you're in your truth, if you know what you want to do, you know why you want to do it, the money is just going to come. And then it's up to you to have like, this is where we can kind of go out of human design, but like, what is your behavior around money in terms of like, do you know what your expenses are? Like, I had to really do that at the beginning of this year because I was overspending in my business, like so many of us do. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Like, that's external validation that we're looking for. That's why we're spending so much. human design can also help you fix that. It's like, what do I really need? Where do I really need to be placing this money? Because if I know what I want and I know what I'm here to say, okay, now I can like cut back a little bit of my investments and trust myself and just take action.
Oh, God. I mean, you're preaching to the choir. I'm like, yeah, I was going through my QuickBooks today. Yep. Can't be doing some of this shit in
Yes.
2026. Absolutely not.
Yes.
If you could go back and talk to like 2014 Jackie, now that
Mm,
you know all
God.
this stuff about your human design, like, how would you change your business?
Yeah, well, in 2014, I was still working for a fitness studio in New York City. I
Oh,
was the yeah, I was a program director at a company called Flex Studios, and I was like hiring the instructors, creating the curriculum, training them. I didn't even have a business yet, but I knew I wanted one. I would have taken the leap way sooner and not, I don't want to say wasted my time, 'cause I learned a lot, but I would have trusted myself faster. I would have taken the leap sooner. I would have seen myself. I had a lot of like self-worth conditioning that I had to overcome, and a lot of stepping into my power and confidence that I really had to do. That's been part of like my life's work and my mission. Um, so I would have done that faster, for sure. Trusted myself sooner. I wouldn't have like. I think I wore New York City as such a badge of honor. I live in New York City. I'm amazing.
mhm.
You know, such a badge of honor for like too long. And I think it held me back because it's so expensive to live there. Like I probably would have left and gone somewhere else and like allowed myself to build a foundation in an affordable place and then build out from there. Or I would have like paid attention to online a little bit quicker. Um, yeah, there's so many things I would have done different, but like hindsight is 2020, right? Like I
Yeah.
also like to think like I'm in the right place at the right time. But I do think this is a beautiful tool, especially if you're like, you know, young and you learn human design. My God, you can really have such a beautiful life experience with less of the resistance and less of the trial and error. Like I think it's incredible, even for kids.
Yeah. I um I lived in LA for 7 years and I also made it my whole identity because
Yes.
I'm this little girl from North Carolina and I'm in LA and I wanted everybody
Yes.
back home to know I was better than them because I lived in LA and I got out and guess where the
Exactly.
fuck I live now? North
Right.
Carolina. I came
Exactly.
back because I got so burned out.
Yeah. Yes. I feel you. I went back to Philadelphia after New York too because I was like, I can't even save a freaking penny. It's so expensive to live here.
Yeah.
Even though I like make decent money, I'm like, it's just all gone all the time. And it's so crowded. And what am I doing? Why is my identity so attached to this city when this city isn't even giving back to me anymore? I think when I was like younger, it was amazing. You don't care. You'll eat ramen noodles, you'll sleep in a shitty apartment, you don't care. But as you
Yep.
get older, you're like, hold on a second. What is this even like real or am I just making this something in my head? And this goes back to conditioning too, right? So if our younger selves know what we know now, hello human design, we can make better decisions.
So, how old were you when you discovered human design?
Oh my gosh, it's only been like since 2020, 2021, end of 2020, early 2021. So it's new-ish. I think for about
Yeah.
4.5, 5 years now, I've been studying it. So it's new in the grand scheme of my life to me, right? I just started to bring it into my business in 2024. This year, 2025, I centered every single thing that I do around it in my life and in my business. I just decided I'm going to go all in, and it's really paid off.
One thing that I did was when I first started getting into ChatGPT, I built my own GBT that had my human design in it. I dumped all my human design in it and I dumped my birth chart and everything else. And I will go back and ask it like very important life decisions. And I'm like, does this match with what I need to be doing or whatever? Maybe that's not the best thing to do because, ChatGPT will tell us some weird shit sometimes. But
Yes.
I've found it helpful,
Yeah.
especially like I'll throw my business messaging in there sometimes and I'm like, does this match with me? And I
Yes.
try to check it back and make sure
Yeah.
that it does. Like and I realize I am someone that helps other businesses with their messaging. And mine is probably not the best because I'm too close to it. But
Yeah.
me and ChatGPT and my human design, we're in there. We're trying to be a girl boss together.
I actually I created a custom GPT called Ignite Your Voice, and it's trained by me in human design, and all of my clients get
Which is
access to
way
it.
better than my GBT, I promise.
Yeah.
It
Well, I
has
don't
real
know.
stuff in it.
But yeah, it's trained by every training that I've done, and my clients are like obsessed with it. They like spend every day inside of the GPT doing exactly what you said.
I
I'm
love
so
it.
excited. And I was like, just as a business lesson too, I was like, should I sell this separately? And then I was like, no, it's just going to be like something you get when you come
Yeah.
in. And
Yeah.
it's so helpful. I agree. Like just to have that reflection back. I can't remember if you're an emotional manifesting generator. Do you remember? Or you're sacral or
I don't
emotional?
I'm
I don't
sacral.
remember. Yes,
I'm
okay, yeah, so
sacral.
you
I
need
know I'm
something to
sacral.
respond to. Having the
Yeah.
two-sided conversation and the response, me too. It's
Yeah.
like, I just
Yeah.
need something to, like, bounce my energy off of, because if I'm by myself, there's nothing to respond to, and then I can't move
Mhm.
forward. So that's why, like, chat for us is like a gift.
Yes, and so I will do this thing, and I don't know, every time I talk about it, I just envision myself driving to Target, but I will be driving to Target, and I'll just be overstimulated, and I talk to ChatGPT in my car, and I'll do the voice note thing with it because 'cause I'm like, "I'm spiraling out. You don't have to tell me anything. I'm just gonna tell you what's going on," or whatever.
Yeah,
"Just talk to me right now," which is
yeah.
probably sad, but that's where the
No,
world's going, I guess.
no, I mean, I think that it's kind of helpful because what we're doing is able to brain dump, it's like journaling, but with a response,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah,
it's just like
and
journaling with a response.
I don't know, maybe tell your clients to do this, but one thing I do with a lot of my GPTs is I will take pictures of my journal and upload it in there and say, like, show me the themes, especially because I have a manifestation journal. And so
Mhm.
I'll say, show me the themes that are coming up. Like
Yeah.
after I did a meditation and I'll journal it out, show me the
Mm.
themes that are coming up and what
Yes.
next steps should be for
Yeah.
this. So I love doing that.
Yes. Yes,
So
exactly.
anyway,
Exactly.
another thing.
It's a reflection of our own conscious, subconscious, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Tell me all about Tulum. I want to know like weird woo woo stuff. I don't need any I almost said ashwagandha. Not ashwagandha, ayahuasca. We don't need people pooping their pants. But tell us some like really cool stuff that you've experienced in Tulum.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. Like, I feel boring because I run my business half the time. But I mean, it's like the energy here is just completely different. I can't explain it, but it's palpable in the air. Um, you can literally feel it when you walk around. I mean, you feel like you're close to the sky. It doesn't feel like you're separate from the sky, which is super weird. Like, just the clouds feel closer, the stars feel closer, the energy feels all encompassing. I think that Tulum is like an accelerator for whatever is going on in your life. So, for example, like I came here and within 4 months, something I'd been thinking about for like the last 4 or 5 years with my marriage, like happened like instantly. Like it's an energetic accelerator. And I think you're either ready for it or you're not. Like I've seen people come here and get spit out in like 2 months, completely like thrown off and like depressed or back in like bad shadow patterns. Or I've seen people come here and completely alchemize their life and change it. So the theory is that, like the crater that hit the earth that killed all the dinosaurs, that
Hmm.
happened here, like right here in yeah, so that's why the energy is the way that it is. That's what's created this energetic field that's here. So that's it, like it's just palpable energy. So I mean, it's pure alignment. Everyone I meet, it's just like there's a synchronicity. They're from the same place as me, or we were in the same coaching program, or we know somebody who's the same, or we have like the same family history. Like there's just synchronicities are endless. I mean, I don't know how personal you want me to get, but like the craziest thing that happened to me was like, oh my God, I'm like, I don't want people to judge me, but I guess if you judge me, that's okay.
It's okay.
the
This is
craziest
a
thing that
safe space.
the craziest thing that happened to me was like one day I decided to go to a human design reading. And I was like, I'm just going to go to this human design reading. So I went and I was talking to the practitioner on Instagram before I went because I was like, let me just make sure this class is on. It was low season and like the middle of the summer, which gets really quiet in Tulum. So the class was on and I was on my bicycle by myself and I like made the wrong turn and I went down this road that was like the wrong way. And I ran my bike right into the guy that was teaching the human design class. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to your class. And I'm like so lost. But like we were talking on Instagram, what's up? And he was like, yeah, you're going to my class. I was like, okay. So then I got off my bike and we walked to his class together. Then I ended up being the only one in the class. Right. So then we're there, we're in the class. The class went like 3 hours. We just kept talking the whole time. Then we left. I'm not thinking much of it. Long story short, I ended up, like, completely falling for this guy, like, I'd never felt like this before in my entire
Love
life.
connection.
Yes, it was, like, intense connection, and, yeah, now we are together running our human design businesses in Tulum. Long story sh
What?
Yeah, I found out later when I ran into him that I ran into him right in front of his house. Like I literally like the timing of the universe was insane. Like I turned the corner and I like literally he was coming out of his house, getting ready to go to class, and I just like met him at the front. If you want to be like mind blown even more, a month prior, I had found one of his human design charts in this little cafe, thought nothing of it. I was just like, oh, this guy does human design. Cool. Like it was literally like a clue from the universe. Then I went to his class a month later and I was like, oh my God, that's your chart. I saw this chart in the cafe. He's like, oh yeah, I left it there. Like that has been the weird, like craziest synchronicity of like, I really feel like, I don't know, the world just like put me here for
Yeah.
this like experience and this level of relationship that's super aligned with where I'm going and what I'm doing.
I love that. And I'm like, holy shit, I need to plan a trip to Tulum because I'll make a lot of money, hopefully, or I'll clear out a bunch of stuff that doesn't serve me anymore. I
Yes,
love it.
yes.
That's,
Yeah.
oh my God, that blows my mind. That's so exciting. Okay. So I'm going to ask you for some tips. And in the meantime, be thinking because I'm going to ask you a very unhinged, like what's the most unhinged business story you have? It can be from other business, this
Oh
business,
my
whatever.
God.
Just think of a really crazy story. Okay. So if people like have no clue about human design and it scares them or whatever, but they just want to like live their best life, what are like 2 to 3 tips that you have for them?
For human design?
Or
No.
like not human design? Because if someone, even if somebody's afraid of it, just in general, like what are some like themes that you see come up that people can
Yes.
do to just like live their best life?
Yeah. Well, I think that women can make a list of all the ways in which they're modifying their behavior to please other people. It's usually
Oh
like
my God.
your family. Like I stayed in Philadelphia instead of leaving for so long because I was like my family wanted me to stay. Um, that was after New York. I was there for 7 years. I should have been there for like two. Um, So modifying your behavior to people please is one, even in your business, in your pricing, in your relationships, like whatever it is, that's a huge theme that I see with every woman. Number two is emotional regulation. I mean, I've coached so many women at this point, and the only thing that blocks momentum in the business is when our emotions start to take over and we feel like, oh, something happened in my life. So I don't feel like showing up, or I feel like not enough, or I feel and I'm not saying don't leave space for your emotions, but if you're constantly being thrown off guard by what you feel, then you have to understand like how to regulate that and how to come back to like ground zero for you, through whatever modality that you want. So that I think is huge. And then I would just say number 3 is, like, really just trust yourself and don't make decisions with your mind. Human design shows us how to use more of our body. It's usually, like, the illogical stuff, like, I've been completely transparent. Everything that I say sounds probably crazy in some way. Like, none of what I've done in the last year is logical in any way, shape, or form, but it's led to, like, more peace, more happiness, more alignment, more possibility, just overall feels like the right path, and I haven't felt that in a while.
One thing I was thinking of yesterday, and it's similar to these things that you were saying, is um, I am looking back at memories that come up on Facebook or Instagram, and I just feel for myself because I know how emotionally dysregulated I was and
Mhm.
how much in fight or flight I was 7 years ago, 5 years ago,
Yeah.
4 years ago. And I like feel so bad for myself because I was people pleasing. I was taking whatever
Mhm.
money anybody wanted to give me. I was just letting everybody run all over me. And I was begging anybody to love me. Clients,
Mm.
friends, relationships, someone, please love me. And now I'm in a very secure, very stable relationship. And I'm not saying Jeremy has cured all my issues, but being in a place where you're not begging someone to love you
Mhm.
has like evened me out so much,
Yeah.
just my nervous
Yeah.
system, and
Yeah.
it's giving me more confidence to not just take whatever money anybody wants to throw at me and
Mhm.
advocate for myself and increase my pricing, which I'm not the best of it at it. I try, I really do. But just being in a place of really good emotional regulation has helped me so much in so many areas of my life. And I just have so much peace. And I feel for anybody that is in that state that I used to be in, and I'm sure you've been in it too, especially when your marriage was ending. It's
Mhm.
it's so hard, but life gets so much better once you can regulate that. And no
Mhm.
amount of therapy was helping that. No
Yeah.
amount of having a toolkit, nothing was helping. I could meditate
Yeah.
all day long, but my body was still in fight or flight because
Exactly.
I was just so
Yes.
dysregulated.
Exactly. Exactly. And I love that you said that because it really is self-love. It's like I can't ask somebody else to love me if I'm not going to love myself. Like we're seeking that outside of ourselves. But I think giving ourselves self-love is challenging because it's usually the stuff that is harder to do.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
also I just thought of this, like, the courage that you have had and that I have had to
Mhm.
completely pack up our shit and move across the country or move to a different state and then come back and then go somewhere else, like, I
Mhm.
applaud us. So if anybody is listening
Mhm.
and you're like, "Oh, maybe I kind of been wanting to do this. Maybe I should," just do it.
Mhm.
Just try. Like,
Yeah.
home will always be
Exactly.
there. You can always go back
Exactly.
home. But even if
Exactly.
you move away for 2 freaking months, just do it because,
Exactly.
like, it could be the worst 2 months of your life, but that's knowledge and that's, like, data that you have. But get out of your safe space.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's where the growth is. And
Yeah.
everything that people fear and worry about, it's just like it's just your mind. It's not it's better than you think. It's going to be so much better than you think.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any unhinged business stories? I'm sure you do in the fitness world. I know it. I know you have to have some really crazy stuff, like people farting or whatever. I know you do.
In the fit you know what? In the fitness world, not as much, or, like, it's been a while, so I don't remember, but, like, the worst I mean, like, unhinged business stories, I had some crazy, like I had this one woman, like, come to a retreat and not like it, and then she, like, went and decided to make me a hate campaign for 2 weeks on social media. That was, like
What?
yeah, that was wild. I was like, "This woman is out of her mind," and I, like, remember being really upset, but now I'm just laughing because I'm like, she put so much time and energy into hating me, and she just was making
Yeah.
herself look really stupid, and I'm like, who does that? Who has the time and the energy to, like, do that? It's just so funny sometimes the way that, like, people will react or people will, like, put others down to lift themselves up or use anything to get attention, and I'm like, that was probably the most unhinged thing. I'm like, "This woman is out of her mind," and the funniest part was she was, like, a coach for, like, women to, like, not feel shame. Yeah, she's like yeah, I was like
Oh, and she's shaming you on the
yeah,
internet.
yeah, yeah. I was like, "This
Oh
is
my
so
God.
really hilarious to me," and that was, like, the most unhinged thing. I was like, "I cannot believe this is happening to me." But that goes back to human design because 'cause I'm a 3/5, and the 5 line has a projection field, so if you don't meet somebody's exact expectation and they're crazy, then they will, like, quote, unquote, "burn you at the stake," and that was, like, the one time that this happened to me, and I was like, "Now I know what people mean by the 5 line projection. This is literally what's happening." She saw me as one thing, and I was not what her projection was, and then she was like, "Okay, we're gonna go after this bitch." And I was like, "Oh my god."
Jesus.
Yeah.
I and I don't want to spill someone's business, but I know somebody that had a retreat that was very similar, and I was talking with my friend that was hosting the retreat about it, and I'm like, "Oh, that lady was just super triggered. She was super triggered.
Yeah.
Let's talk through it." And then
Yes.
we were talking through this lady's whole life story. I'm like, "Oh, she got there, and she was so
Yes.
uncomfortable that she was pushed to
Yeah.
the edge of
Yeah.
having to change out of this, like,
Yeah.
box that she had put herself in.
Yeah.
She got so triggered and, like, flipped her
Yeah.
shit."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's sad,
Exactly.
and, like, as I mean, truly unhinged as that kinda stuff is, like, you just have to feel sorry for those people, you
Yeah.
know? Like, it's sad. Bless. Well, I was hoping you would have some fart stories. I'm sure people
I'm
have
sure
had
that has
lots of
happened
farts
before,
in
but
training.
I'm sure that's happened, but I don't remember.
Okay, well, tell everyone where to find you on the
Yeah.
internets.
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at I am Jackie Smythe. That's the best place for now. Yeah, just shoot me a message, say hello. I would love to connect. If you have any questions about your design, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, and you're stuck with me for life now because I think you're awesome, and you know my life because you did my chart. So I'm gonna
Yes,
come
yeah,
visit you in Tulum, and
yes,
I'm
absolutely.
gonna like the second I get there, I'm gonna get like 15 new clients, and I'm just gonna make a lot of money. And so
Yes.
that's just what's gonna happen.
I love that you're manifesting that for yourself. And also I need to tell you to tell me more about your female founder group. I'm like, what is this? I want to come. So you have to message me about
Yeah,
that.
I will tell you all about it. We do,
Yes.
well, I'll say it here. I don't care. So once a month, we do a happy hour at my office, and it's literally like Costco wine and cheese. And we have 350 women total who have been, but normally we have about
Amazing.
40 to 60 women that attend each month.
That's
My
amazing.
boyfriend DJs, so he's the
Oh,
only
that's
boy allowed, and he plays like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and One Direction and like eighth grade dance party songs. And we all just stand around and talk to each other and scream, and there's no agenda, and it's completely free, and we want it to be as open and accessible for any female founders or anybody thinking about becoming a female founder
yeah.
to come. So no programming, nothing. We literally just stand around and gossip and drink wine.
That's amazing. I love that for you. So it's in
Yeah,
person. That's incredible.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
very,
it's in person.
very foreline of you, like you said.
Yep. Look,
Congratulations.
I was sick of going, this is my song and dance. I was sick of going to networking events with a bunch of old ladies that worked at the bank who paid $2,000 to be a part of a club that
Mhm.
was giving nothing.
Yeah.
So I just started doing my own thing. And here
Yeah.
we are. We started them in April. So we've had 8 now. And yeah, we have almost 400 women total who have been.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Yay. Thanks, girlfriend. Okay. We'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you for being my
Yes.
friend.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, friends, did you learn anything about human design? I did. And if you know me at all, after hearing my chart, does it make sense? I think it does. If you want to find Jackie, please, please look her up. All of her information is in our show notes. Please do a reading with her. Like I said, we did a 30-minute call, and it was like so just transformational for me and validating. We did it on a day where I was just exhausted, and it really put some pep in my step to find out that I was doing things without knowing it that I needed to do that were in my human design chart. So go find out if you're a manifesting generator like me. I love that I'm a manifesting generator because my first and middle name is Melinda Gale, so MG, and then manifesting generator, or some people call it man gen, it's MG. So it's just like, of course. Of course, I'm a manifesting generator. Anyway, let's all go visit Jackie in Tulum as it gets cold this winter. Please find her, check her out in our show notes, and let's just support other amazing female founders that are digital nomads. Because let's be honest, we're all freaking jealous that we're not also digital nomads. So thank you for listening, like and subscribe, and thank you to Jeremy from Airwave Arcade for being our amazing producer and editing out all the times that I say like in this podcast. We'll catch you next time. Like and subscribe to my podcast. It's Unhinged. Dun, dun, dun.